All right, good morning, Cincinnati. It is 9 o'clock here on a beautiful Saturday, and this is the Did You Know Real Estate Show. I'm Sean Dennedy, and I'm a realtor with the Dennedy Home Group at Keller Williams Advisors Realty here in Cincinnati, Ohio. And just want to welcome everyone to the show. I will say that, this is a new venture for me. I've been on this show before when it was hosted by the rock and roll realtor Gary Rossignol. So Gary, if you're out there listening, my love and thanks to you for offering me this opportunity. It was really a surprise how this all came about. Gary called me, I guess it was sometime in June, and he said to me, hey Sean, would you be interested in taking over my show? And the first thing out of my mouth was, are you serious? I'm like, wait a minute. Because I had to, I had to think about that for a second. Like, you can't. I'm like, Gary, you've been doing this for so long. I can't believe you actually, want to ask someone else to do the show. And I had to think about it because, the first thing that went through my mind is, okay, let's see, what else am I involved in? I'm involved in Rotary Club. I network I'm networking all over the place with chambers of commerce. I play golf with people a lot. In fact, one of my guests here today is a lifelong friend, I guess you could say, Rick Barrett from Cross Country Mortgage, who you'll hear from some of what he does here shortly. But you can talk while I talk.
Oh no, I like hearing the story. Okay.
So there's a lot of activities and things that I'm involved in, and. But at the same time, having been in real estate for 7 years, being able to have a voice to talk to people.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been 7 years. Yeah, 2000. Well, because I had the print shop for a while.
Yeah.
And after I sold that, I took a year off to kind of figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and what I want to be when I grow up, kind of thing. And it was that year that people were saying to me, Sean, you really ought to look at real estate. Your personality, who you are, the way you network, the relationships you have with people. I mean, you'd be a natural at real estate, but it was a little scary because, as real estate goes, I mean, once you find a client and you move them into a home, well, now you got to go find another client. It's, even though they're, and you probably won't hear from that client you just helped for the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. So it was a little nerve-wracking at first, and actually my first year I was working with Gary.
Yeah. Next to my office,
that's right. Yeah, and that's how we reconnected.
Yeah.
Rick and I, our parents were basically best friends growing up, and we had all kinds of New Year's Eve and parties and holidays and stuff. I'd go to Rick's house, he'd come to my house, and
take bridge.
Yeah, exactly right. Aunt Sue would discipline the both of us when we got out of line.
DT Dennedy.
Yeah, Mom. Mom's on a plane right now. You want to know something? Listen to this. So this has been my morning so far. So I was up at a little after 3 a.m. Mom was she's on right now she's in Louisville, I think. She's taking a riverboat tour from Louisville, I think, down to New Orleans and back. But here's the crazy thing. She's starting here, taking a flight to Minneapolis to fly to Louisville.
It's the cheapest way.
What the heck sense? I guess. But what the heck sense does that make? How do you not have a direct flight from Cincinnati?
Why didn't you just drive to Louisville?
Well, because then she'd have to fly back to get her car. I don't know.
No. Here's what you should have done. You should have driven her to Louisville, and then when the boat docks in Louisville, then she'll just fly home. Then you pick her up.
Oh, well, yeah, but then I would have had to have left at like 2 in the morning, and then I would have never gotten any sleep. So, needless to say, Mom get Mom to the airport at 4:45. I come home, get my laundry started, and go to the gym at 7 o'clock, and now I'm here. And luckily, I have another good friend of mine, Mark from St. X and TX, and Michelle and Leslie. If you're out there listening, I love you both very much, and I look forward to seeing you both again real soon. Okay, well, so let me tell you a little bit about this show and how it's going to work. So, obviously, we're going to talk about real estate, and every week I'm going to have a segment that discusses something real estate related, whether it be home buying, home selling, commercial, whatever. We'll find something. Believe me, there's millions of topics out there regarding real estate, and I know a lot of folks out there probably have questions and are concerned about the real estate market, knowing what's going to happen. So here's what I will say. If you are listening, what's the studio line, Mark? There we go. All right, so if you are listening and you do have a question regarding anything about what we talked about on the show, or even if not, give us a call, 513-563-1480, okay? Give us a call on the line, and we'd love to talk to you. We'd love to answer your questions. Rick and I, whether it's about real estate or anything, that's what we're here for, okay? Even when we talked about some of the other segments. So after we do my quick real estate segment, which I think I'm starting to run out of time here, so I got to get it done quick. Rick's going to take over. We're going to talk a little bit about mortgages and financing, different loan programs that are out there right now. We're going to have a Did You Know segment, and this week we're going to talk about the Cincinnati dinner train. I don't know if too many people out there are aware of that, but the more folks I talk to, they don't know that it exists, and it is a magnificent opportunity, and it's a great way. It's a great date night. You and Chris ought to take that. In fact, they actually have. Well, I'll talk about it after the segment.
Yeah.
And then the last segment is going to be about good news. So I'm not a fan of turning on the TV stations and the cable news, because all you see is just bad stuff.
Especially recently.
Oh God, well, we don't want to go down that road, but yes, a lot of stuff recently, and it's absolutely horrible. And so we want to talk about good things that are happening in the community. So things that might be going on with nonprofits, maybe something that the police or the first responders are doing, a good story about that. So I've pulled some good stories to talk about. In fact, one of the agents in my office is having Lauren Wessel. She's doing something, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit. So hopefully this show will be entertaining and will give you folks some good thoughts. And there we go. So my real estate topic for today. So the past several years, the market has been changing. And, this isn't like 2020 or 2021 where people were, jumping all over each other and throwing down $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 over asking price just to get a house, which personally I think is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why somebody would do that, but to each their own. So now the market has become a little more balanced, okay? And the reason I know that is because every month the Cincinnati Area Board of Realtors puts out market statistics for our region. And we're showing that as of July, active inventory is up 34%. So homes are actually starting to sit a little bit longer. And we haven't seen an inventory level like this in probably 3 years. So, and new listings are also up 8.8% over last year. So as we're seeing inventory go up, we're seeing listings come up. Median days on market is now 7 days where it used to be 3. So that's telling you right there that the market is becoming more balanced. So what does that mean? That means that it's a good time if you're a buyer, depending on the neighborhood now. There are some neighborhoods that are still going to be very competitive. And a lot of that is because of the school systems, because it is back to school and folks want to get their kids into, whatever the school system of their choice. However, there are a lot of opportunities out there. So if you are a home buyer, where you can get competitive with pricing, so you're not going to have to worry about getting into multiple offer situations in a lot of the areas around town. So that's really going to change some things. But what that means for sellers is that depending on where you live, talk to your agent, or if you are considering selling, if you have an agent. If you don't, give me a call, please. I know, right? Self-promotion. Shameless self-promotion right there. But yeah, please, talk to your agent about your neighborhoods, what's going on with your neighborhood. If you live in Amberley, or if you live in Anderson, or if you live in Bond Hill, or if you no matter where you live in town, each part of town is a little bit different, and you're starting to see that shift from a seller's market to more of a balanced market. And eventually, if we do ever see interest rates come down, and that's something that Rick can talk to, we should see more of a buyer's market. So that being said, I have one more thing I want to get to, and I do believe we have a caller on hold. So since I did mention back to school, so most of us, here went to high school, and we all have a love for the teams and the sports for for football. So I did some research, and I came up with the top 10 high schools in Cincinnati to watch a football game, known for competitive teams, passionate crowds, and strong athletic programs. So we will start at number 10, and number 10 is Kings High School. Number 9 is Mason High School. Number 8 is Sycamore High School. Number 7 is Lakota West. Number 6 for you West Siders is Elder. And number 5 for you West Siders is Coleraine. This is interesting. Number 4 is McNicholas. I guess because they built the new stadium? Okay.
Oh, man, I'm getting a little perturbed on this list.
Did you went to Turpin?
Yeah, you only have one east side. You know what? And that's really McNick.
It's really McNick. I know. What's going on with Anderson and Turpin? Anyway, number 3 is LaSalle. Number 2 is Moeller. And number 1, my alma mater and yours, Mark, St. Xavier Bombers.
Wow.
So, if you are on this list, congratulations. If you're not, you're welcome to call and explain and give me a reason why your team should be on this list. Remember, the station line is 513-563-1480. We would love to hear from you. But that's my top 10 list. I will have one every week. And we do have a caller that is holding. So I think we've got Maggie on line 3. Maggie, go ahead. Well, the very first thing you got to think about, Maggie, is your curb appeal. Okay, how's your landscaping in the front yard? Is it mulched? Are the gardens weeded? Curb appeal always is that first impression that home buyers always look for. The second thing is when you're staging your house, less is more. What I mean by that is, if there's too many, some family pictures obviously keep this on the wall. I totally get that, but I'll give you an example. So a couple years ago, I did a listing presentation at a custom-made log cabin home up in the Hamilton area. And these folks were, very outdoorsy, to say the least, because there were lots of deer heads and lots of taxidermy all over the house. And the furniture was all kind of, smushed together. And as I'm going through the house, and they said, well, Sean, what do you think? And I said, well, you know what, the first thing you ought to do is take down some of these deer heads, take down some of these stuffed animals, so to speak, because when buyers come through the house, see, buyers are going to want to picture their stuff in the house, right? So if they see all of your stuff hanging around or hanging up on walls or furniture all over the place, they're not going to be able to picture and envision how they can design or how they can decorate the house themselves. So that is what I mean by less is more. Does that make sense? Well, I would know family photos I would leave up. Yes, but I would leave some family photos up because because chances are do you live in a ranch or a two-story home, or do you have kids? Okay, so I would certainly leave up the family photos because that's going to give people the feeling of, oh well, this is a family here, they live here, great, that makes us feel good because it's a family-oriented neighborhood. So that's actually a good selling feature. But if there's this pictures of like sailboats or pictures of like vacation stuff or whatever, but I mean like a good family portrait here and there, definitely keep that up. You're very welcome, Maggie, and thank you so much for calling. Yay!
Hey, someone likes me. Someone's actually listening. Someone's actually listening.
Someone's actually listening. I know. That's proof positive. Thanks, Maggie. Thanks for calling. You have a good one, my dear. You too, my dear. Thanks. Bye-bye. Well, there you go. So, got a break? Okay. Great. Well, we have to go on to break. So, you are listening to the Did You Know Real Estate Show on WDJO, where the music is. So we will be back with our next segment and Rick Barrick from Cross Country Mortgage in just a few minutes. All right. Welcome back to the Did You Know Real Estate Show. I'm Sean Dennedy with Keller Williams Advisors Realty and the Dennedy Home Group. I'm here today with my special guest, and lifelong friend. I don't know lifelong, but close enough. 45, 46 years. I don't know.
Long enough.
We were out of diapers, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
You always.
Well, anyway, so this is Rick Barrick from Cross Country Mortgage, and I will let Rick kind of introduce himself. And I believe we have a caller. Yeah, we do have a caller. Fred, so before we get to Rick here, let's get Fred on the line here. Fred, you said you have a question about buying a home. Fred, talk to us. What do you got?
Okay, so you got a mortgage question for me. So it's actually the same as if you're W-2 or on fixed income as well. So we go off the same ratios. So what's your main question? So it's just like what size of a house or?
Sure.
Yeah, so no, it's not harder.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, no, it's not harder. It's basically the same way. We start off by pulling your credit, which one of the things I'm going to lead to. We start off doing a soft pull, if you know what that is, so it doesn't affect your credit score, and then see where you're at there, and then we'll ask you to get your income score, see how much you do get in Social Security. Do you make enough? Do you file tax returns? Okay, so what we do when we do qualify for fixed income, especially Social Security, since you don't get taxed, we can go 25% over what you guys actually get because you're not taxable. So say if you get $1,000 a month, we can go off $1,250 as we do for qualified income. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's really cool. I didn't know that at
that's
all.
125%.
Okay.
Yeah. So whatever. Yeah, and a lot of, especially around in Ohio, you can ask. I mean, Sean can verify is real estate taxes.
Yeah.
You know, in Ohio, yeah, real estate taxes, especially in Hamilton County, you know, they're pretty high depending upon what school district you're in, right? So if you're outside the Hamilton County, if you're in Claremont or what have you, you know, normally the real estate taxes are slightly lower, and that's part of getting fully pre-qualified. Is that you know, you get your credit pull, get your income verified, and then, you know, once you get a purchase price in mind, that's when you get with the real estate agent, you know, and kind of look for the houses that are in that price range that your loan officer gives you. And then the loan officer, if they're a good LO, then they'll look up the real estate taxes for that specific property and let you know pretty close to what your estimated payment's going to be before you even go look at it.
Oh, Fred, well, yeah, thank you so very much. I will say, you know, it's a little nerve-wracking, but after you get, I think once you get that first segment down and things go pretty well, it's like, okay, I think I can do this. So, hey, Fred, listen, thank you so much for calling in. If you need to, also, I'll let you all know, if you want to connect with me personally outside of here, my phone number is 513-227-4284. And my email address is sdennedy, S as in Sam, DENNEDY @gmail.com. So you're more than welcome to connect with me if you have any other specific questions. But Fred, thank you so much for calling in. You too, my friend. Take care. All right, and actually we have one more caller. We have a Susan on line 2. So, hey, Susan, you are on the Did You Know Real Estate Show. Good morning. What's your question? How can we help you? Uh-huh. Oh, okay. That's weird.
Refinances. So I'll start off with answering
Yeah.
the first question on this. So when you refinance, it looks like your husband just refinanced just in his name. Okay, so he qualified to, as far as the ratios go and everything, to refinance just his name without your income or credit. Okay, so in the state of Ohio and most states in the country, there is when you're married, you have to sign what's called dower rights.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so dower rights, when you're married, you're entitled to basically half of whatever the other person has. So even though he refinanced into the mortgage just into his name, you're still on the title of that property that you, and the beautiful house that you bought, okay? So, I mean, obviously a divorce attorney would go in a little bit more detail with you, but as far as the money side and the title side, you are entitled to whatever your divorce, the decree says, because you're on the title of that house. Even though you're not on the mortgage, you're still on the title. He cannot sell that house without you signing the deed off.
Yeah, and I guess the question is, I'm assuming that you and your husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband, you both signed for the mortgage loan on the house when you originally bought it, correct? Okay, so then it would just be a simple matter of just checking, making sure that your name is still on the deed with the county recorder's office. That being said, yeah, and then follow what Rick was mentioning about making, because you still have those dower rights. And again, I would definitely talk to, if you're not already talking to a divorce attorney, and they can help you out with that.
You can actually get on the auditor's site and see.
Oh yeah, the auditor's site too.
So, no, so it was most likely. Yeah, so he should, so the person that came to your house was most likely the title company, the closer. From the title company. On a purchase, when you purchase, you have other parties. You have the seller, the realtors, everybody involved. Normally you go to an office because there's so many people. On a refinance, normally it's just you two, or if you're by yourself, just you. So we close, for your convenience, we close in your home. Okay, so you don't have to, unless you want to go to an office or something like that. But most refinances do close in your home. So the person that most likely came to your house is the actual closer from the title company. Okay, which is, whoever the loan officer was and the mortgage company was. They sent an order into the title company, they pulled the title and everything. And when they got finished through the underwriting and got the appraisal done and all that stuff, they came to your house to actually close it. And also, your husband should have got a copy of all the papers that were signed at the refinance when it closed. How long ago was it?
Wow.
Yes.
Yes, if you find out who the title company was that conducted the closing, they would know who the loan company was that did the refinance.
And they would have a copy of all the documents because they have to keep them for a minimum of 2 years.
Yes.
Like a paper copy. Well, I don't know about a paper copy, but most
digital.
likely they'll have it digital because everything's
Yeah.
emailed and they have to. So once you actually sign the paperwork, then us as a lender require what's called funding documents sent to us, so they have to scan everything in and then email to us to actually fund the loan to pay off like the old mortgage that was on there and all that stuff. So the title company should have a copy of it.
Okay, so what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no problem, Susan. You're welcome, Susan. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. You too.
You too.
Bye bye. So in a situation like that, I'm guessing that if you do a refinance, you can do it without your spouse.
If they qualify, yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
but again, anytime you really sign anything, this isn't just directly towards Susan. You
Yeah.
really want to know what you're signing.
Well, yeah, of
You know
course.
what I mean? So,
Well, but she wasn't there. She wasn't even a part of it. So
well, she was at the closing.
Oh, she was at the
has
closing.
be
That's right. She had to
the-
sign the papers.
But the dower rights was only like 4 or 5 pages. When if
Yeah.
you're on the mortgage, it's like 60.
Sure.
You go through an initial and sign and all that stuff. So
I hope to God she didn't sign away your dower.
She's-
Holy
you-
crap.
it's very hard to do that.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, if
Well, especially through an attorney, I would imagine. you
yeah,
have to do
a
that,
title
yeah.
company, then the closer would tell them.
Oh yeah,
This is
yeah.
what you're
That's
signing.
right. That's
Like,
right.
You,
Yep.
you understand you're giving your rights away, which technically, if she's going to divorce and everything like that, the attorney could fight that.
Wow.
You know, because it's a dour state. They do it for a reason.
Exactly. Yeah, and it is still kind of bass backwards, but yeah. Well, Susan, our heart goes out to you. I hope everything works out for you. And Fred, thanks for calling. Maggie, thanks for calling. I tell you what, this is great. My first show, we've got 3 callers already. I love it. So we got to take a break.
It's because I'm on with you.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Thanks, Rick. Yeah, thanks for taking all the glory. All right, well, you are listening to the Did You Know Real Estate Show on WTJO, where the music is. We're going to be right back in just a few minutes. All right, Cincinnati, welcome back. This is the Did You Know Real Estate Show. Sean Dennedy here from Keller Williams Advisors Realty and the the Dennedy Home Group. There's my first Freudian slip of the day. Just a reminder, folks, if you have a question, this is great. I've been overwhelmed by the response from folks today. So if you have a question, please give us a call. Rick and I are here to answer your questions. 513-563-1480. Hop on the phone, give us a call, ask your questions. We would love to chat with you. So that being said, we didn't get much of a chance, Rick, to talk about mortgages and...
That's okay. I'd much rather help her out than...
Well,
because, you know...
I agree. Yeah, I know. I do actually do appreciate when people call, because when we can help somebody out when they have a question and they're not sure what to do, where to turn.
The show a little bit. And,
yeah.
You know, 'cause that's what we do pretty much every day, really, is we talk to people and answer questions about...
Just about. Yeah, just about. Because if my day was just sitting in front of a computer all day long, I'd probably fall over and take a nap.
And once you say it, you don't know unless you ask.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, and the thing is, you hear the saying, like, there's the only stupid questions are the ones that aren't asked.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, absolutely. So,
stupid questions and stupid answers.
Well, that's where I come in.
I know.
Anyway, so one of the things that I've noticed over the years working with home buyers is, there's several different types of loan programs out there. You got conventional, you got FHA, you got VA. You got USDA, and a lot of times, when I put in offers, especially for FHA buyers, it seems like there's some kind of magical thing that people look at that and they're like, oh no, we don't want that. Stigma, yeah. So do me a favor, Rick, talk a little bit about because FHA loans are not that bad. In fact, I actually took a class on FHA several years ago, and there's really nothing wrong with these loans, but there's a stigma behind it. So can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah. So I mean, FHA does, and FHA, VA, and all government loans, they have kind of a bad stigma on it, like we just said. So, I mean, really, the only difference is, and we'll start off with the stigma that FHA has. So, a lot of people think that because you go FHA, you're a terrible buyer. I mean, just flat.
Exactly.
It's just flat. You're a terrible buyer. You can't go conventional. You could fall through. It can, your credit score's in the 500s. And that's. I mean, there are some, that FHA loans can go in the 500s, sure, but there's other things that go into an FHA loan. Is, most of the time, I mean, everybody wants to do a conventional loan. Okay, the best interest rates, lowest PMI and all that stuff. But for an FHA loan, the ratio. So when I talked earlier about the debt to income ratios.
Yeah.
Okay, so debt to income ratio is everything that you currently pay, like car payments, all your credit card payments, minimum payments, plus your house payment divided by your gross income. Mm-hmm. That gives us a debt to income ratio. With
debt to income ratio, does that include things like utilities, cell phone payments, and things like that?
No.
Okay.
And what we've seen a lot of people which is good. A lot of people that are coming to first time home buyers are self-reporting their Duke, their cell phone bill, and everything to the bureaus to add to their credit.
Oh, okay.
So
that's it. Yeah.
Because most likely their parents have told them, like, you need to have credit.
Right. Of course.
So, but those don't count towards your debt to income ratio. So. But on an FHA loan, you can go higher. So on a conventional loan, normally our cutoff is 50% of your gross income.
Sure.
Okay? On an FHA loan, it's 57.99%.
Okay.
56.99, excuse me. So of your gross income, so it gives you more buying power.
Okay.
So you can go higher. Okay, but here's a stigma in a lot of, and I don't want to say agents or whatever, but a lot of sellers hear from their agents, like, especially, and I mean, I probably got 60% pre-approvals ready to go out. I mean, like you said, the market's starting to switch. Like,
Yeah.
But some of them are FHA, and a lot of the agents that I do business with are asking, can you switch it to conventional? Because a lot of the listing agents don't even see FHA, which I don't understand why, but I have a feeling it's because normally on an FHA loan, you have to have a little more stuff done on the house, okay?
Sure.
So for the appraisal. So you have to have a railing, 2 steps and above.
Right.
You have to have a railing, peeling paint. There can't be any peeling paint.
Right.
You know, and those are the 2 big things. And windows, can't have a crack in a window.
Overflow valves on water
Overflow
heaters.
valves, yeah, stuff like that. I mean, they're a little
Yeah.
more picky on it, but if you have a good agent, they know what the appraiser is looking for.
Of course.
You know, and so, but, you know, and I think that's the stigma that FHA has.
I would agree with that. You know, and and here's something that, you know, I wouldn't necessarily call it a trick of the trade, but so if we do get an accepted offer on FHA, what I normally would say is I would tell my inspector to say, hey, we're FHA, look for anything FHA related.
Yeah, and most of the time,
So we know what-
inspection
so we know
is
what-
done
yeah.
before the appraisals are.
Exactly correct.
You know, so, and then us as a lender, we don't see the home inspection.
No.
You know, the only thing that we might want to see from the home inspection is a turnout. You know,
Well, yes.
for
Yeah,
a
you've
VA,
asked me.
yeah.
You've asked me that before. And I know VA does too. Yeah, I know. Yeah, because the inspection report is actually it is owned by the home buyer.
Yeah, it's for your knowledge.
Right. So like so this is a good point to make. So if you're buying a home and you get a home inspection, me as an agent, I need to ask my client's permission to give the items from the inspection report to the sellers to say these are the things that we like to
Same with the appraisal.
Yeah.
You have to get the okay from the buyer to give the appraisal, because most of the time the listing agent will ask for it.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just don't want to say, oh, it came in as is and
Yeah,
add
as
value.
and add value. Right. Yeah. No, sometimes it doesn't, and
Yeah.
that's actually a good topic for another show. It's
Yeah.
like what happens when the appraisal does not come back at the offer price that the buyer made.
Yeah.
You know what happens in that case. So.
Can I hop back on that FHA thing real
Yeah,
quick?
go.
I mean,
please.
the
We
main
still got some
thing
time.
about that is, you know, your loan officer and agent have to have a good relationship.
Absolutely.
Just like we do. Like, we're very transparent with each other, you know, and a lot of times if you have a local loan officer, they know the listing agent as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like most
Oh,
of the
yeah.
time when you send me to or someone else sends me a deal, that I know the listing agent because I've been doing this 25 years.
Of course.
You know, so, and the listing agent will email me and ask me if this is a good bar, or text me. And so, especially if it's FHA, they're like, give me the details.
Right.
You know, so that's one main thing, especially here locally, is that, you know, go for a local LO. I mean, if it's not me, go through someone else, because the relationships that they have with the local agents,
Mm-hmm.
and listing agents, I mean, late agents as a whole,
Oh yeah.
is huge, because it's a trust thing. Because if you go into multiple offers and you have a pre-approval for Rocket Mortgage and you have a pre-approval from, say, me,
Yeah.
same terms, probably going to go with the local.
And right, and absolutely, and you know, when you see, you mentioned Rocket Mortgage. I mean, now Zillow, you know,
yeah.
they have a financing arm now, and the
Lending
thing,
Tree.
Lending Tree, and I think even some of the credit card company like Discover. I had a client once a couple years ago that you know, we actually had financing from a local, but they want was that
was
you?
me.
The Butzows?
Yeah.
John But. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But he ended up wanting to use Discover, and it became a total cluster bleed.
Yeah. And then you were
You know?
apologetic, I remember, because I gave them pre-approval. They wanted to go through Discover. I'm like, they even have a freaking mortgage company? I had
Yeah.
no idea.
Well, yeah. So it turned out to be, you know, I mean, obviously the deal
Yeah.
got done, but
Yeah, you were complaining about.
well, because the listing agent was getting all freaked out because, you know, it's like, well, who are you going with here?
Yeah.
And that's and that's something else too. So like, you know, if you're in the middle of a transaction and you're a home buyer, now you can theoretically, and legally, you can switch lenders in the middle of a transaction if you want to. So you can, like, let's say for example, you know, you get, I send you a contract,
Yeah.
and then let's say 2 weeks later, my client says to me, hey Sean, you know, we talked with, you know, Timbuktu
It
Bank,
happens all the time.
and they got us a lower rate. Can we work with them?
Yeah.
The first thing I would say is, well, why don't we talk to Rick first and see if he can match that rate? Because the thing is, you know, not that it's not an uncommon thing. It does happen.
Mm-hmm.
However, it can prolong the buying process.
And part of the problem with that is that when you get a pre-approval letter, say like you said, just go with me.
Yeah.
Okay? And all of a sudden, you know, like you get so when you get your credit hard pulled, the trigger leads go out. So once they do that, then they telemarket it. But that guy that's calling you he doesn't know the bones of the loan.
Right.
So he could do the old bait and switch. He could just say, I could beat that rate.
Yeah,
he doesn't
exactly.
know anything about it.
Doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, that's some great information, Rick. Thanks for coming by. Again, we've got one more segment to go, folks. So give us a call if you have a question. 513-563-1480. You are listening to the Did You Know Real Estate Show on WDJO, where the music is, and we'll be right back in a few minutes. All right, folks. Well, thank you for sticking around here. This is the Did You Know Real Estate Show. I'm Sean Dennedy from Keller Williams Advisors, the Dennedy Home Group, and here with my good friend Rick Barrett from Cross Country Mortgage. Again, if you'd like to give us a call and ask a question related to mortgages, your mortgage, your house, buying a house, selling a house, or just want to call and ask a general question about life in general, that's what we're here for. So studio line is 513-563-1480. Or if you want to call me personally, you can do that. My number is 513-227-4284. And Rick, you want to give out your phone number?
Sure, it's 513-383-2923.
All right, so we are here for you. So, all right, so the last segment, we're going to talk we're going to do a Did You Know segment along with good news. So the Did You Know segment. So this is a piece of Cincinnati, I guess, history that not too many people know about. And if you do, call us and tell us about your experience. It's the Cincinnati Dinner Train. Now, this has been an amazing, I guess, a little tour. It's dinner. It's a four-course meal. It's a 3-hour train ride. It used to start in Madisonville at Madison Bowl. That's where it used to start, and it would go through Hyde Park, East End, past Lunken Airport, and still does this. Goes all the way down to Montgomery and Boathouse, and then comes all the way back. But the thing about it, it's the atmosphere, it's the ambiance of it. You know, you step on board and you are walking back into history about 60 or 70 years. You know, they play the big band music, the artwork, how the train cars are set up, and all of these train cars were actual. I mean, these are cars from that era, and they've been restored, they've been remodeled. They have, let's see, they've got a tavern car. They've got cars with different themes. They've got like a New York themed train car. They have a bar car, which is called the Silver Sword Lounge. They have New York Central, Milwaukee Road dining car, Silver Sword, Oasis Tavern, and then of course a lot of times they do have like live music that comes in, or they even have an a cappella group. The Swing Sisters, the Cincy Sisters, that's their name. The Cincy Sisters. Now these young ladies, there's 3 of them. They come on to every train trip or dinner trip, and they are doing a cappella 1940s big band music.
You said young ladies.
Yeah, they're young.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I know. You wouldn't think of that, right?
Right?
What do you think of somebody my mom's age?
Or my dad's.
Or your dad? 81 years old?
86.
Oh, welcome. No, it's not like that. But I mean, it's just, it really, it's an incredible experience. So if you've ever experienced the dinner train, give us a call. Tell us your experience about it. 513-563-1480. If not, then you know what? Go online, do a Google search for the Cincinnati Dinner Train. We'll look it up. In fact, they run every Saturday. It starts at 6 o'clock. And once you get on the train and you're at your seat, chances are you're going to be seated with people you don't know if you're just going as a couple, and you end up with friendships afterwards. I mean, because everybody
actually put the phone down. And
yeah,
enjoy.
we actually
What's
put
that?
phones down. Yeah, exactly. And
That's what we do.
Well, I
We're
know.
always looking at our phone, and God knows,
Yeah.
just one-on-one.
Yeah, you text and you call and you do all that other stuff. So, but yeah. So once you're in that atmosphere and you're on the train, the only thing you want to really do is look around and to see what's going on around you, because I mean, all the train cars have windows, and you're actually on an actual train riding around Cincinnati. Well, so coming up on August 31st, which we all know is Riverfest, and that's when the WEBN fireworks are, which I haven't been to that in years. However, this year I'm going on the dinner train has a special event where on Sunday where you have your dinner, they take you down to the fireworks. You actually can depart the train, watch the fireworks, come back on, and the train will take you back to your cars.
That's pretty cool.
It's really cool. Yeah.
That's really cool. Especially because you can't drink at the fireworks anymore.
Exactly, so you can drink on the train.
You can drink on the barge.
Yeah, exactly. It's only $159 per person, so that's actually not too bad. And you get a choice of prime rib, a chicken dish, a seafood dish, and I think they also have a gluten-free and a vegan vegetarian dish. So, and it's 4 courses, so you get some appetizers, a salad, your main course, your dessert, and it's all kind of staggered out, so it lasts at least a good hour or so. And then of course the rest of the time you can move around the different cars. You can go to different bar cars. I always
like park at down there.
It parks right at Montgomery Inn, right by Montgomery Inn. And now it doesn't start in Madisonville now. It actually starts in up off of Seymour Avenue, where like if you were going to St. X, that Paddock and Seymour exit off 75. It's right around there where Cincinnati Gardens used to be. If those folks that remember Cincinnati Gardens, which by the way, Cincinnati Gardens was awesome for the Cincinnati Roller Girls. Yeah, the roller club.
We're not going to mention that team on the other side of the city that Xavier.
Oh, we don't know them. Yeah, we don't know who they are. I know you're a UC guy, but I also remember seeing Sam Kinison at Cincinnati Gardens back in the '80s.
Oh yeah.
And the thing I remember about that is, besides the fact that Sam Kinison was very loud, he actually called somebody from the stage. I think it was like somebody's girlfriend or ex-girlfriend. Anyway, I don't want to get into it, but it was actually rather funny. So anyway, folks, so if you have questions or would like to know more about the dinner train, obviously look it up online, but give us a call, 513-563-1480. Now, I do have a couple pieces. How much time we got left? A couple minutes? 4 minutes? Okay, perfect. I do have some good news stories I want to share. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm not a fan of watching, except maybe to get the weather. I'll turn on the news stations just to see maybe what the weather's like. But the rest of it, a majority of it, maybe 95% of it, is just stuff that I don't want to hear about. We know it happens. We know bad things are out there. But what would it be like? How much happier people might be is if we talked about good things that are happening in the community on a daily basis. Right, so we'll do it here on a weekly basis. How about that? All right, so here are some good news stories. So, in Butler County, this happened a few weeks ago. Deputy Derek Collins was recently dispatched back to conduct a welfare check. Upon arrival, he found that the residents were facing significant hardship. Their utilities had been disconnected, leaving them without the ability to refrigerate food or maintain basic hygiene. After confirming the residents' immediate safety, Deputy Collins took it upon himself to provide further assistance. He temporarily left the scene, only to return with hygiene products and ice to help preserve their food.
I remember this story.
Yeah, the residents expressed that while they had an adequate food supply, they had no means of keeping it from spoiling. Deputy Collins' actions reflected a deep commitment to public service and compassion. His willingness to go beyond the expected duty exemplifies the values of the Butler County Sheriff's Office. I think that's awesome. I mean, that is absolutely awesome. And again, that's something you don't hear about anyway. So kudos to you, Deputy Derek Collins of Butler County. If you are listening or someone that knows you is listening, give Deputy Collins a call and give him a big thank you for doing what most people, may not do. So next, Brian Eibold is a retired police sergeant who, throughout his 28 years in law enforcement, met many people in different circumstances. Finding resources to assist those in serious need was very difficult. There were no agencies available that offered the kind of help every family's unique situation required, which that's true. This was frustrating for everyone involved. When Brian retired from the police force in 2020, he started a one-stop shop nonprofit called the Help Squad to provide for those that found themselves in dire need and had nowhere else to turn for help. Today, the Help Squad's main focus is on struggling single moms and dads and financially stressed families through economic assistance, services, and prayer. The Help Squad is a registered 501c3 nonprofit organization, and 100% of donations received go to make the lives of our clients better and are 100% tax deductible. Now that is absolutely incredible. What do we have, about 1 more minute? Okay. So for the last story, I'm actually going to plug an agent from our office, Miss Lauren Wessel, the Lauren Wessel Group. She has a drive called Backpack in School Supply Drive to help. Let's help Grandview Elementary School start the school year strong and ready to learn. Now through August 10th. So you have you have today and tomorrow. They are collecting paper towels, backpacks, washable markers, and maybe even other supplies like pencils and pens. Anything that you are willing to donate and give to help kids get off to a good start in the school year, especially those that are less fortunate.
So
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, yes, absolutely it is. Even with the sales tax holiday that's happening right now. The drop-off location for these items is at 620 Turman Lane, 620 Turman Lane in Bellevue, Kentucky. Leave the items on the front porch, and Miss Wessel will come and pick them up. So, again, those are your good news stories for the week. And as we close out today, my initial show, my love and thanks and blessings to all of you that tuned in and listened today and are watching on Facebook. Dan, thank you so much, my producer, for keeping me in line and reminding me to make sure people know what the phone number is. Rick, I love you, buddy. Thank you so much for doing this. Mark, who was in the background today, thank you for being here and providing your support. It's been wonderful. And this is the first show of many. And I'm looking forward to next week for the Did You Know Real Estate Show. Well, I'll be having Brittany Oswald from Queen of Clean. And thank you so much for listening, and have a great week.